everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come and join us here to learn a little bit about a really awesome company and a really awesome supplement that I'm going to tell you a little bit about, give you a little science background. I am a recent graduate from the Master's of Cell Biology program at UBC, so I know a little bit about science. And I'd love to share you about EHT. So I started with the company only a couple months ago. A friend of mine introduced me to the company. It looked great. They had awesome compensation. They had awesome people. They had an awesome culture. I just really liked what this company had to offer. So I joined up, and then this product came out about a month after I started, and everyone was super abuzz. I didn't know what all the excitement was about. But once I started on the product, I knew right away, okay, this is awesome. People need to know about this product. It's really helped me with my focus and my energy levels throughout the day, maintaining my social life, my work life. I have a lot of focusing I have to do at work, working in science, and then normally I'd get home and be super exhausted and be tired and not wanting to do anything. But now, since I started EHT, it's like keep it going, keep my life going, which I think is awesome. And then there's lots of other benefits that I'll tell you about that other people have experienced. People have various experiences, but generally there's a few things you can expect with this awesome product. So what is EHT? EHT stands for eicosanoyl 5-hydroxytryptamide. Much easier to just say EHT. So where does it come from? It's from the coffee bean. It's the coffee bean extract. So let's get into a little bit about the company that discovered this. So we have Signum Biosciences. So they're a company based out of Princeton University. I'm sure everyone knows about Princeton University. Great place. Dr. Jeffrey Stock is a researcher who's been there for a long time. And he's been doing research in anti-aging in the central nervous system and dermatology for over 20 years. So he's got author of over 150 peer-reviewed papers. So that means he's a legitimate scientist. He knows his stuff. He's doing great work, and he co-founded this company, Signum Biosciences, with his son, which is pretty cool, Maxwell Stock, who is now the CEO of Signum Biosciences. And so they've applied their research to develop scientific breakthroughs, and now they're developing products with direct applications for human health and for you to enjoy and that health. So they look at both neuroscience and dermatology as their focus. It's quite interesting to know that the brain and skin are very similar in their cellular origin. So during development and embryogenesis, there is something that happens where there's 3 different germ layers that occur, and the brain and the central nervous system and the skin actually come from the same layer. They're the only 2 to come from this layer, so that's a fun fact to know. So it's not that surprising actually that they have kind of these 2 arms in central nervous system and dermatology that kind of overlap a little bit because the cells kind of act in the same way and have similar gene expression. So I was just telling you, why do you think what's a little bit different, that they would be looking at brain aging and skin aging. And you can kind of think of how is my brain health doing? Maybe you could look at your skin. You won't have, I guess, the same sun damage, but you could think of, if you see your skin is kind of aging, then that's also happening on the inside, because you can't really see your brain aging, but you want to be actively acting towards helping your age healthy. So research has discovered that aging neurons follow exactly the same rules of senescence as do skin cells. So same idea, aging brain cells behaving like aging skin cells. So what are the common causes of premature aging of brain and skin cells? So what do you got to look out for? So chronic inflammation. So inflammation is something everyone is kind of dealing with on an ongoing basis at various levels. Inflammation can be really bad. Chronic meaning long-term. So a short-term inflammation or acute inflammation would be something like you get a cut, you have your immune system reacting to any bacteria that's living there, and then after a week or 2, heals over, everything's good, no more inflammation, no more redness, it's all good. Chronic inflammation can occur kind of anywhere in the body, and if it's on an ongoing basis, it kind of deteriorates the tissue around where the inflammation is occurring, and that's really bad. And that can occur from underneath, from a topical layer, so anything could kind of, well, not anything, but a lot of things can cause chronic inflammation, whether it's your own organs that are dysfunctional and your immune system is reacting to it, which is like what would occur in cancer, or if you have, you're eating things that you're mildly allergic to and then you have chronic inflammation in your digestive system. All these things would kind of lead to chemical degradation and bad things that you don't want. And oxidative stress, so that's when you have, maybe you've heard that oxygen is not always that great, and it's good at reacting to things and just generally can cause kind of cellular havoc in your DNA, for example. Things just react, and then if things are being recycled out properly, then you have kind of aging, and all of this kind of accumulates over your lifespan, and so things kind of just build up. So this company was trying to develop molecules to act against these sources of aging, so that they would have anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and modulate cell signaling. So they're trying to attack it from various angles to help you age less rapidly, or backwards age even, if you look at our skin product. So what's the problem with the aging brain? What occurs? You have lots of things happening, as I was mentioning, oxidative stress, and inflammation are happening as you age, as you live, depending on your lifestyle, they can be better or worse. And then what happens? So you can have mood change, you can end up with movement dysfunction or memory loss even as you're getting older. And no one likes any of those things. So you can think memory loss at an extreme stage would be like something like Alzheimer's disease, and movement dysfunction, something like Parkinson's. These are all, and various other neurological disorders that can occur kind of as you age. And that's not fun. So what can you do? What are we going to do to help that? So evidence shows that coffee can reduce the risk of brain health decline. After 20 years of research at the Princeton University, Dr. Stock and Maxwell discovered a specific molecule in coffee that's responsible for this benefit that was observed. So what did they do? They developed a patented coffee extract enriched with high levels of this molecule, but no caffeine. Something to be aware of, there's no caffeine in our product. And they were awarded a global patent for this molecule, EHT, which is super important because if their molecule is patented, that means no one else can scoop our company, and that's why we're all here super excited about this business, because we have a patent on our molecule and no one can just come in and scoop. So what is EHT? It's an extract from the coffee bean. So they take the coffee bean and they isolate this one molecule, which has been shown to have be bioactive and helpful. So they started with the coffee bean extract, and then they kind of looked at this thing called PP2A. PP2A is a protein involved in regulating another protein, which I'll get to in a minute. So they kind of screened in this and found this EHT molecule. So they kind of they needed to identify the molecule, verify that that was the right molecule, and then along with a few other vitamins, B6, B12, folic acid, and magnesium, EHT will provide protection for our brains. So a little bit more about how this product really works. So it targets the microtubules in the neurons. So you can think of the microtubules, they run the whole length of your neuron, and the neurons can be pretty long, right? You have to have a neuron that goes from your brain all the way down to your toe, so they can be pretty long. And these microtubules are little like filaments or kind of ropes inside your cells that help or that allow transport of various things that need to be transported within the cell. So they're very important. You need things to go from one end of the cell to the other, from an area where it's made to an area where it's needed. And so things like nutrients and neurotransmitters and organelles like mitochondria are all super important for the cell to function properly. And if these mitochondria are not present, then the cytoskeleton of the neuron will be damaged, and if they're not functioning properly, then you will have a cellular dysfunction, which is similar and eventually leads to, or similar to aging, and eventually can lead to the death of the cell. If your neuron dies, then over time, that's going to lead to some significant issues. So EHT interacts with this molecule called PP2A, and PP2A is responsible for regulating this tau protein I was mentioning, which is super important in the health of that and strength of the microtubule. So if the microtubule, if this tau protein is not interacting with the microtubule properly, you have, you could think of it as a more wobbly microtubule, it's not as stable or strong. And this PP2A molecule will be helping strengthen those microtubules. And they discovered that EHT helps PP2A promote tau to really bind strongly and maintain that strength and health of the microtubule. So in short, the EHT is helping you strengthen these components that are very important in the health of your neurons. So I was just saying this, but we have EHT protecting and stabilizing the tau protein, which is then helping stabilize your microtubule. Whereas over time and aging, this tau protein, and I should mention the tau protein is also seen as one of the major effectors or molecules of proteins that is dysfunctional in Alzheimer's disease. So that's super interesting that, if we're strengthening this interaction of tau and the microtubule, who knows? Maybe it could be beneficial for preventing Alzheimer's. Of course, that's not been tested. This product is super new, but that's something you could maybe even think about for in the future. So this, as I was mentioning, something bad that would happen, or things that can occur if your microtubules are not strong and being maintained. You have tangles that are forming, and as you can see here, this kind of looks all a bit messy, and things are kind of crossing over, and that's not good. And here we have a healthy area of cross-section of some neurons, if you think like neurons are running this way. So we want to keep them, make all our brain cells and neurons healthy, because then you'll keep your brain functioning maximally and your body moving optimally. So the benefits of this supplement go from protecting and supporting neuronal networking, increasing focus and mental alertness, which for me is the most beneficial, improving memory and recall, which is awesome, better cognitive function and overall brain health. So obviously we want to lessen that aging effect. It also helps boost the body's immune system, so attacking that inflammation I was talking about earlier. It fortifies and strengthens natural brain functions and enhances the body's natural energy source. So lots of great stuff. Right, so their patents have been exclusively licensed to Nerium, and that's something that we're very grateful for, and having the opportunity to share this product and tell everyone how great it is, because maybe you think, oh, I'm only 20-something years old, like myself. I don't need to worry about anti-aging. Well, we've been talking about, Alzheimer's is known to start 30 to 40 years before you even really develop any symptoms that are measurable by science at this point. So, I think that at any time in your life, at any point where you are at in your spectrum of age, wherever you might be, it's something you really should think about. Because I want to be able to think when I'm in my 80s, I would love to be able to still get around and move, greet people and remember people's names. That would be, life-changing for some people. So what are some benefits people have experienced, or what are some, testimonials? We've got, my energy levels are constant, with my focus clearer than ever. So that sounds almost exactly like what I was saying. This product is beyond amazing. Focus and clarity, more like an eagle. Things I noticed have made a positive impact on my life. Better sleep, which I've heard lots of. Mood lifted. I've heard various stories about having better mood and having it more kind of leveled out. Less anxiety and more energy. All with EHT. After the stroke, EHT has helped me to improve my concentration for both my studies and my training. So people who are people who are are in sports, and if they've had concussions or traumatic brain injuries or whatever you've experienced, EHT could probably help you if you've had any EHT as a sole item has provided for a simple solution to a complicated and restrictive problem I call a fog that made even simple things more taxing on the brain. Previous methods for relief was excessive amounts of coffee or high caffeine soda. Thanks to EHT, I now get a day's relief with simply a daily pill. I think that's a really big one. You know, people really hype themselves up on caffeine, and you kind of get that high and that low, and then high and then low when you're drinking your coffee. This one kind of levels you out. You get that energy and that focus that you wanted with the coffee, but it gives you throughout the whole day. It's really magical. So why Nearing? Why are we with this company? Because they marriage with real science and real results. So they're dedicated to having, real science, and they're dedicated to having real results. And because of that, they give a 30-day money-back guarantee with all of their products. They have, great integrity, and it's just great. They are developing breakthrough products that work and are affordable. I think that's very key. They have differentiation. The products are, not like anything else that's on the market right now, and they are totally affordable, and I think very worth your while, for sure. They are bringing innovative research to consumers faster than any other company, and they are a family business on a mission to make people better. And that's one of the main reasons also I joined this company, is because of their dedication to make people better. Now, if anyone has any questions, I would love to take any questions. And otherwise, that's a little bit about EHT. Thanks for listening.